The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Welcome to Bass number 550, subtitled "Oh, Leafs No" by Zach. So I'm not going to take the heat on that one. How we all doing, boys?
And I didn't say it when I typed that. It wasn't Leafs no. It was
Leafs No.
No.
I think we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't just give Mike the floor to air out, his feelings regarding the last couple weeks. Mike,
I yield my
time. There are a lot of things I could say. A Canadians fan who listens to our show wanted to hear what I had to say about Carey Price's, reemergence. I know, Andy, you said you wanted to hear about, the Marner thing.
Mm-hmm.
To both of those, I just say I have nothing to say about either of them because I don't care. I reached a breaking point. I feel, to say I feel nothing isn't true, but I've had it. I'm done. I'm done with the Maple Leafs. I'm done with the NHL and probably hockey for a time being. I'm just done. I'm just fed up. I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of all the jokes. I'm tired of being the butt of every joke in this stupid league. I'm tired of this team constantly underachieving. I am tired of the first round choke jobs. And then the stars aligned and they got a gimme of a first round, and they went up 3-1 in dominating fashion. Then they lose 2 overtime games, and you can say, okay, maybe that happens. Sometimes crap just happens, but they've got Game 7, and they played that Game 7 like they were playing the Buffalo Sabres in December. That was not an effort that's going to win you a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm just done with everything. I am done with everything. This team has done nothing to justify the loyalty of the fans who follow it, and this team has taken one of the proudest legacies in the NHL, and they have exploited it, and they've shit on it with this underachieving bullshit. And what can I say? I'm just sick, and I'm tired of it. I have, hockey is supposed to be a fun thing. I'm supposed to enjoy hockey. Like I said on the CCSLC, there are pictures of me as a baby in Maple Leafs gear. All right. What has any of that amounted to? What has any of this fandom amounted to? What joy have I gotten out of it? It's just been embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss. It seems like they get, more heart-wrenching or more inexcusable. And what happened last night from the perspective of a fan is inexcusable. If they had, maybe if they had played their hearts out, if it was a really close game, and they just lost. You still have to deal with a blown 3-1 lead, but maybe they showed that they cared. They didn't. And you got people who say, the core is the problem. This team doesn't have what it takes to get to the next level. And, maybe that's true. Maybe they don't have what it takes to get to the next level. And if I were younger, if I hadn't put up with all this bullshit, if I hadn't put up with all this bullshit, then maybe I'd say, yeah, blow it up. I'd be really rooting for that. Blow it up, rebuild the team, do what needs to be done. But, maybe I'd give a shit about Mitch Marner and his contract, or I'd give a shit about Carey Price or any of it. But I don't, because this team can sign whoever they want. They can cut whoever they want. They can extend whoever they want. They showed me nothing. And I've just find myself, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of it. I don't have anything else to say other than, again, there are pictures of me as a little kid in Leafs gear. I followed this team like a religion, as a kid, as a teenager. Like I said, I actually found myself crying back in 2000. They got eliminated by the Devils. That felt like the end of the world. And it's like, if I only knew that was not the end of that. This is the team who, through uni, I spent many dreary winter night, at friends' houses, getting drunk off shit beer, watching them lose 5-0 to Vancouver on the nightly. And what have they done? They've done nothing. This team has one of the most passionate, one of the most educated, one of the most loyal fan bases, not just hockey, but sports in general. And they haven't done a goddamn thing to deserve it. And I'm just tired of all of it. So fuck this team, fuck the NHL, and fuck hockey. I'm over it. I'm done.
It's it's so weird that we've gone just excuse me, like a couple months ago, from giving you the floor to discuss a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl to now, like, this is so much more. This is a like.
Well, the thing with the Bucks is that, as far as the timing goes, I got lucky on that. I moved to Tampa. I watched the Bucks, weekly, and they grew on me and they grew on me. And then it got to the point where my Chargers fandom no longer felt justified, and it was far less angry than this, but it was just, they left San Diego, which I never had a personal connection to, but it's the team. That's where the team was. It's, that was their home. Everyone from those teams that I had followed year in and year out was gone, save Phillip Rivers. And when Phillip Rivers left the Chargers, it was a situation where I kind of went, well, there's nothing left. So I embraced the team that I was, the local team in the city I was living in that I had kind of grown attached to over the years. And then, shortly thereafter, Tom Brady signs with them. And that was winning the sports lotto, I guess. But, like, I don't know. I didn't feel jubilation when the Bucks won the Super Bowl. I was just kind of like, oh, that's really neat. That's cool. So, like, this is what it's like to, be a fan of a team that wins a Super Bowl. This is fun. But this, well, I didn't feel jubilation when the Bucks won the Super Bowl. I was happy, but I got something out of it. You know, it was a fun that was a fun season. You know, kind of following them and seeing them and seeing them through that season. They won the Super Bowl, and that was neat. You know, Toronto Raptors, a team I followed pretty much since day one. Them winning the NBA championship in 2019 is probably the best moment of my sports fandom. That was really cool. And like I said on the boards, the Blue Jays haven't won a World Series since 93, but that team they put together in the mid 2010s went on a couple of deep playoff runs, a couple of really cool moments, you know, probably the peak of that being that, you know, Game 5 against Texas in the Sky Dome, right? And yeah, they never won the World Series, and that sucked, but you know, they went on some deep playoff runs, they had a good showing, and they gave me some memories. But this hockey team's given me nothing. And it feels worse because, I mean, the Bucks are a team I adopted, but the Maple Leafs I've been a fan of in a way before I even knew what hockey was or sports were. And, you know, for the, you know, hockey being my favorite sport, and it's just, yeah, and I've got, you know, both sides of my family. You know, my mom is a huge Leafs fan. My dad's from Montreal, but, you know, his grandparents were from Brantford, Ontario. They're Leafs, you know, they were Leafs fans. My dad would always kind of jokingly say to me, you know, through the years, it's like, you remind me of my Zeta. Zeta is a Yiddish term for grandfather. You know, he would be sitting there watching the Maple Leafs in the 70s, you know, munching on sunflower seeds going, they suck, but he'd still watch.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
And apparently my great grandmother would then walk in and go, be nice, they're trying their best. But I've just reached this breaking point where, and you know, maybe it's because the team means so much in some way, but you know, maybe, you know, if the Bucks did this, for example, maybe I wouldn't care as much, but I'm just done. I feel nothing. I'm just over it, and I just want nothing to do with it.
I think all of us have I mean, I know all of us have certain teams that are like that. Like, I mean, Andy, you lived the Cubs lifestyle for as long as that took to finally get one.
Right.
You're in the middle of the Bears lifestyle for
yes.
as much as that is. You know, Greg, you have the Cleveland Browns and even the Indians as your foils.
My sports life's been fantastic all the way through. No,
and like. The only team that I can equate this on, and I can remember a very specific moment is the Ducks. Now it's different, obviously, because they did win, you know, back in 2007, and they were still a very successful team immediately after said cup. So it wasn't the same sort of thing, but it's definitely not a 60-year wait of not winning or even a 14-year wait of not winning the first round. But I mean, we were recording during the 5 consecutive Game 7 losses that the Ducks went through, and again, completely different because at least like they lost in the first round, the first year, then the second round, then the third round, and so it was kind of like they were getting further along each time. So it was like it was a different sort of frustration than what you're dealing with. But still,
I was going to ask Mike. I've said it on the show numerous times, and I'll say it again. I think that when you're on the losing end of something like that, you have a moment where you go, this just got away from us. And like, was it Game 5? Was it Game 6? Did you reach a point where even going into last night, you were like, you know what, we're fucked? Simple as that.
I mean, no. I mean, you could say. I mean, I guess that's what I guess is so frustrating is that, you know, games 5 and 6, they went down early, and both games they actually came back, and then they and then they lost in overtime. Game 5 was particularly bad because they Montreal only scored on a really stupid turnover. But in terms of like, when did I know?
Well, not necessarily know, but where you get the feeling like all of a sudden you're going, oh my God, I guess is a better way of putting it. We're in trouble. Maybe not done, but we're in trouble here.
I would say, honestly, it was game 7, maybe a few minutes into the first period. I think
so there's the problem. You still had hope at that point.
Well, it's one of these things where, I mean, I guess if they had lost game 5 and 6, if they had lost those games 3-0 and 2-0, I probably would have felt that sense of hopelessness earlier. But they came back in both of those games, and if they score in either one of those OTs, they win the series. So it was very much a sense of, well, fuck. They let the game get away from them, but they still came back, and they were just, a couple bad bounces away, whatever. And game 7 is like, well, it's game 7. Should have gotten this far? No, but, it's a fresh slate. You can come out guns blazing, be the team that beat this team, 4-2 or 4-0. And send them home early. And Greg, you said it looked like they were playing the Blue Jackets in December. I said the Sabres in December. Same difference, really. And so in terms of, when did I feel this thing? When did I finally go like, oh no? It's like a couple minutes into game 7 when it's like, I think it was, I can't remember. I think it was Andy who, you said there's sometimes like when you're watching a hockey game with your team, and it kind of feels like when you hit ice on the road, where you kind of can just tell like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was kind of the feeling, and it's not, they were just playing very uninspired, and you kind of course hope over the course of the game that maybe they kick it into another gear or what have you. But even when they went down 2-0, it was bad, because they went down in games 5 and 6 too. They came back and pushed those to overtime, and they didn't even do that. Like, the fire that you saw late in those games where they came back just wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's like this team started game 7 completely anemic, and then when the Habs went up, they didn't get a sense of urgency. They continued to play anemically. They continued to play like they didn't care. And I'm just, I'm just over it. And to people who want to, say, oh, it's the Toronto media or what have you, or the pressure or whatever, bullshit. Not saying that's not a factor. It very well could be. I'm just saying it's a piss poor excuse, because like, you're professional fucking athletes. All right. Learn how to fucking deal with the media doing their jobs, because it's like, what do you want the media to do? Do you want, the media is simply filling a need. They are responding to a market need. Toronto loves hockey. Ontario loves hockey. This is, Ontario's team. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of media pressure. If that in any way, if the pressure of if the pressure of the Toronto media, or if playing at home in Toronto in a closeout game just got to them or whatever, then fuck them. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve to. They don't deserve to win a playoff series. All right. There have been markets that have, there have been other hockey crazed markets where teams have won in. So if this team can't deal with this, then screw it. And further, it's like that's the effort that they gave me as a fan. Game 7. You know, this is a team that proved that they could go out and they could dominate this Canadiens team. They did it. And then, for Game 7, win or go home, win or die, they came out and played lackluster, just hockey that had they played with nothing to them. And
another way to put that,
it played like they were killing time before they had to go to the airport.
Yeah. Well, the other way to put it would be it was an all or nothing game, and Amazon is going to be featuring Toronto in the all or nothing.
I mean,
that should be fantastic.
That's going to be interesting to see. I mean, but it'll be interesting to see, I guess. But I've got nothing, man. Like I've got so little. Like I just feel like I'm over it. I'm tired of I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of all of this bullshit, and I'm just ready to walk away, for a time being at least. I don't know. Maybe if they show me that they can build a team that can get past the first round, I'll give a crap again. But right now, I'm really not feeling it.
Well, that's when I was listening off the Ducks things earlier. That's kind of where I was trying to get to. The ultimate point was that after they lost in the conference finals the year before, and then they lose to Nashville in the first round the year after. And it was another Game 7 where they just came out like ass. And like Nashville was up 2-0 in the first period. And I literally remember yelling in the middle of the arena, we are not fucking doing this all over again. And of course they did it all fucking over again. And after the game, I see it every year now because it comes up on my stupid Facebook memories and whatever. One of the more embarrassing moments I've had is like an adult fan, I think. But it was like one of those things where I was as mad as I could possibly be at this team for losing again. And I said in that post, I quoted it the next year because they kind of fixed it. But the idea was, I can't care this much about this anymore because like if this is what they're going to do to me every time, if we're going to get to this point to like the most important game of your season and you're just not going to like give a damn about being there for it, then what the hell am I doing here too? Why am I investing this much emotional energy in something that the people actually involved don't seem to be showing? So I said, they need to show me that they care enough for me to start caring again. Then the next year, they had this really hard, like they had a similar regular season, but they finally got over the Game 7 hump in the playoffs. They had a super hard fought conference final against the Predators, and they lost, and they were clearly not as good, but it was a thing of they at least fought to the very bitter end, like harder than I had seen them in any of the previous Game 7s combined. And that was when it was like, okay, you like I challenged you, not that they fucking cared, but I challenged them to make me feel again, make me care about, because the regular season was meaningless after that. Like, what do you even care about at that point?
Maybe you were the reason, Zach. Maybe they read your post and said, you know what? This guy right here.
What an asshole.
It's a straight out of a bad sports movie. We have found this guy. We do this for him.
The point being, I was in the same exact mindset as you were, Mike, then. And then even though the Ducks flamed out in the first round the year after that conference final run, and that they've been dog shit the last 3 years, it at least made me they did show me that spark that get me back on the train, because otherwise it's like it's exactly like you said. And again, as I prefaced before this, a much different situation because it is a legacy team, because it is a team with a much longer history and religious tendencies that, I'm the only one, me and like 200 of the people have the same vigor for the Anaheim Ducks that the hundreds of thousands of Ontarians do for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But there is a hope that I hope you can find, because I know that somewhere deep down this is still important and fun. But I definitely know the exact moment you're sitting in right now, and it's not the place anybody wants to be. It's the lowest you can feel.
You get used to it after a while. I'm just saying.
It's pretty not fun.
I was
But
going to say, sorry,
sorry.
the Cubs. You brought up the Cubs earlier, and this is I weirdly had a moment about the Cubs, kind of dealing through last night's just kind of outpouring. So when the Cubs won the World Series, it was kind of this culmination. It was almost like a funereal kind of thing, to where there's so many people that literally generations of people who died who never saw a Cubs World Series. And yet, they finally stuck through everything, and it culminated in a lot of kind of celebration and kind of grief. With the Maple Leaf last night, it was actually sort of a rare experience, because there's so many times every offseason with every team who loses in the playoffs, they always say, fuck this team, tear it all down, blow it up. I'm done being a fan. I think last night was actually, in some regards, very similar, but in a much more somber and obviously like more disgusted way, where I think a lot of fans, mostly younger fans, I think, who got the Matthews jerseys, and they really grew up with their parents and older relatives who were Leafs fans. Last night, I think a great many of them are like, fuck this. Like, legitimately, I'm out, and I want nothing further to do with this, because I don't want to. If this is what I'm going to be going into, if this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my sports life as a fan, fuck this. I need something completely different, and I don't.
That's pretty much it. And I mean, the reason why, kind of going back to what Zach said, about, deep down, there's still something there. I mean, that's why it's so somber. Like, this isn't like, they lose and it's like, oh, fuck you, bums. Like, I'm never going to be a fan again. And then then you go and buy the hat for next year, and it's
right.
And it's all, no, it's like,
it's legit.
We love this. We love hockey, and part of us, a very big part of us, wants to love this team. This is the team that a lot of our family rooted for. Like, I get, like, I keep saying, the pictures of me as a little baby in Leafs gear. And the reason why is because my mom, who's from London, Ontario, when she married my dad, who's from Montreal, my uncle, my mom's brother, got me, when I was born, a bunch of baby Leafs gear, because, to quote him, no nephew of mine is growing up to be a Habs fan.
Well, are your parents still together?
Yeah.
Because mixed marriages like that don't generally tend to work out.
well, it's but I mean, I kind of just say that to show, like, we love this. We love hockey, and we want to love this team, and there is, there's kind of a point where you go, oh, well, we'll always be there. But at a certain point, it just breaks. At a certain point, enough is enough. And I reached that point last night. I kind of reached that point. I kind of reached that point.
Let me throw an alternative at you here,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what I did. I think that this applies to you as well. You can live and die with a team for years and years and years and years. You can watch that team move and come back, all of that. And at a certain point, you just go, you know what? I'm done with this, like you're doing right now. But I look at it as like, you have earned the right to walk away until this team shows you that they've gotten past this nonsense. You're able to step right back on board, and nobody can say a word about it. Because with the Browns, that's only with the Browns. People are like, you can't quit the Browns. I said, the hell I can't. I've been a fan of this team since they lost to the fucking Vikings in the 1969 NFL championship game. It wasn't even the NFC at the time. And you know what? I've been through that. I've been through the stupid playoff game in the 1980 and all the 80s bullshit and the stuff in the 90s. I've earned the right. I'm going to walk away. When you get your shit together, I'll be back. But until then, fuck off. And I think that's what you should do, Mike. Don't quit. Just go, you know what? I've earned the right. And if anybody says anything about it, you tell them exactly the same story you told us. I've been wearing their shit since I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. And I've earned the right. I'll be back when they show me they're not playing with their heads up their asses anymore. Because that's what I did with the Browns. I came back full on board, 2 seasons ago? I was like, yeah, okay, I'm seeing hope here. But in the meantime, no, I'm not wasting my time or my effort on you. Until you show me that you've gotten your out of your own way and are actually headed in a proper direction. So you've earned that right.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, I guess. I'm just kind of at this point where it's like, I feel like, okay, I'll give a shit when you start trying, and when you have but this is the same exact nonsense that like what happened to Boston happened against Boston a few years back. Leafs were up 3-2. They could have closed the Bruins out at home, but they played completely lifeless hockey at home, and then it went to a game 7 in Boston, and they didn't even bother showing up. And you could say I don't know what you can say. I'm over it, and I'm just ready to. In a way, it's strange. In a way, it kind of hurts to just say I'm done, but at the same time, it is kind of like, well, you know what? You fuckers did this to yourselves. You guys have, abused me as a fan long enough, and Lord knows I'm not the only one. Maybe this stupid goddamn team deserves to have its fan base realize that they're being taken advantage of and walk away for a few seasons and show them what happened. Like, I mean, it's Toronto, it's Canada, it's not going to happen, but that would be the best thing for this team. I'm just, I am beyond just angry, and yeah, I think you're right, Greg. I think you're right. It's just to walk away and go,
I'll be back when you get your shit straight.
Yeah, I'll be back. When you figure it out. But
here's the thing though, like you can't do that with the Bucks. We can't do it like with the Cavs or the Raptors, because they've all won.
Yeah.
We don't have that, but with the Browns, the Leafs, Andy with the Cubs, if he'd wanted to before they won, you've earned it at that point. And these people can go, oh, you got to be true and blue. It's like, I was true and blue. Mike was true and blue with these. Oh my God. He did a show after one of the worst gut punch games I'd ever seen in my life, and he was on the air with us shortly after it happened. So you go through all that shit over all those years. I don't even want to hear about, oh, you're just being a front runner. It's like, no, I've earned this. I've earned the right. Maybe if you've only been a fan for 3 or 4 years, no, you haven't earned that yet, but I've earned the right to walk away from this team, and I'll come back when I'm damn good and ready, and you don't get to say a word about it. And that's where you're at, Mike. That's what you're fully entitled to do that if that's what you choose to do. That's
hopefully, because I agree with all that, Greg, because I was ready to do the same thing with the Ducks. Hopefully for you, Mike, the same thing happens that happened to me, where the make me care again point can come again next year. Because as it was with that Ducks team, this Maple Leafs team, like they're talented. There's talent all over the goddamn joint. They have, the Maurice Rocket Richard goal scorer. They have a strong forward core. The defense has gotten slightly better. The goaltending still needs to be looked at, but I mean, there's something there that this team can still be salvaged. And who knows? Maybe it's some sort of slay the dragon moment, and they have to play Boston again next year for whatever. But and this is all hopes and dreams and nonsense. But there is still a team there, and I hope that they can capture you again this time next year. By getting over the hump.
That would be nice. Not gonna lie, that would be nice.
Watch it,
because we're not even talking about a large hump here. We're not saying like the Leafs can't win game 7s like the Ducks did 4 times. This isn't the Leafs can't win championships like like them and plenty of other teams haven't ever done. This is just, you just need to win 4 games in a row once.
You got to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh in the NFL playoffs one time. And okay, you know what? Maybe the entire narrative hasn't shifted, but a little bit of it's different now. They can't hang that shit over our heads anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of there's a lot to that, Zach, because you know it's a situation where you go, this team hasn't won a first round playoff series since 2004. And I said, I was in high school last time that happened. Not even, and I wanted to emphasize, like, not even my final year of high school. Like, I was 2004. I would have been grade 10 last time the Leafs won a playoff series, and I just need and it's this case where it's like, this is the lowest. This is like the least I'm asking of you guys. Just beat this middling Montreal Canadiens team that you have handled all year in the first round. Get to the second round, and then you could talk about, how would they have matched up with the Jets, blah 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Just show me that you can beat that you can make it to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And they had an opportunity. They had plenty of opportunities to do that, and when it finally came down to that final opportunity, they showed me absolute dog shit, and I'm just I'm over it.
I don't want to needle in on specifics on this too much, because I think we can go to other places and not continue to rake you over the coals here. But is there any of this that is worse because of how the season was set up? Because there's an argument to be made that, like, okay, next, whether it was the years previous when you're in the same division with Boston, or how you're going to be next year, where it's like, next year you're going to have to go up against your nemesis again. Whereas this year, all the barriers were kind of taken away. Like, all you have to do is beat up on the rest of the sorry-ass Canadian teams. All you have to do is, and you go to first place. All you have to do is beat the Montreal Canadiens, who really aren't that good this year, and you're a scoring juggernaut. All you have to do is get through a couple of those really kind of middling Canadian teams, and you can make what is essentially the conference final. This is as easy as it could possibly be for you guys to actually get to where you need to get to. Get that head of steam to maybe make a cup run. Because from going into next year, it's going to be harder again, because you're going to have to play, whether it's Boston or the upcoming Rangers team, or the Islanders, or even Carolina, or any of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. You don't have to play. You only had to play 6-7 other teams, and you just needed to get through that to make it on, and then they still did this. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot to say about that. There are, this, in a way, you could talk about opportunities wasted or whatnot, but the way that I see it is that kind of, as it's kind of like what you're saying now, Zach, and it's kind of like what Andy said on our last show, which is that it's like the stars were aligning, maybe not for a Leafs Cup run, but for a deep playoff run at the very least. You beat up on the Jets, you beat up on the Canadiens, you beat up on the Jets, then you play some other team and you go, well, okay, how are they going to fare then? But then you go, well, they have momentum, and this is still a high-scoring team. They can make a go at it, and even if they lose, it's like, hey, they made it through 2 playoff rounds. That's something to build on. But this, they blew it, and that does add to the frustration, because things were coming together things were coming together, and they just let it fall apart.
Would it have been easy? Not easier, Mike, but maybe a little easier to stomach had they not blown a 3-1 lead? Like if this had gone back and forth, by game 5, you're going, I don't know what the hell's going to happen here. It could go either way. And you just, going to do our best every game and see what happens. If we get to 7, we get to 7. But like you said, they had 2 opportunities to finish off the series in overtime, and they didn't come through in either one. But would it have been easier to stomach had it been a back and forth series where you really didn't know what was going to happen from one game to the next?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I honestly don't know. I probably, because if we're being completely honest about it, if you look at these 2 teams on paper, and even if you look at how they were during the regular season, this should not have been a game. This should not have been a 7-game series. This should not have even been this should not have been a series that went back and forth. This is a game that, the Leafs should have won. This is a series that the Leafs should have won. And would I have been a bit disappointed if they had won that series? If they had won a closer than it had to be series, maybe I would have been cause for trepidation, but they still would have won. But here they came out and they showed me absolutely nothing when they were facing elimination. They showed me absolutely nothing when they had a chance to redeem themselves after 2 straight losses, and they did neither. And that's kind of where I keep saying I'm done, because what am I doing as a fan, putting myself through this for this team that is never going to get out of their own way? So
I was astonished because I had not watched a single game in the series until last night. And when I from the beginning, I was like, oh boy, right out of the gate. It just, like I said, to me, the Leafs were playing like they were killing time at the airport. Like, well, we'll do this until the plane shows up, but then we're out of here. And when Montreal scored, I was like, this is not good. I didn't say anything in the text thread because I was all positivity until I saw them play. And I knew right then, I was like, I just don't see this happening. And then I thought, well, let's see what happens in the second period. And I don't remember what the score was. It 2-0 after 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they came out in the third, I thought, there's no way this happens. None. This team, it's like and again, you guys know more about hockey than I do, but just my anecdotal observation was simply that this team looked like it would rather be literally anywhere else than where it was right then and there. I mean, on the power play, it was, okay, I know it's not, you can't just set up a great shot every time you want, but it seemed to me at times it was like, God damn, guys, try a little bit at least, I don't know. It just struck me as a very lackluster effort would be the way
and that's why, and that's in part why I feel the way that I do.
Yeah,
because of what they came out and showed.
And when I added in all the history to go, I'm like, oh my God, how in the fuck can you guys go out there and play like this, knowing what you're going to face today if you lose this game? Now I understand that's a certain kind of pressure, but the right team goes, hey, fuck that. We're not doing that. We're going to go out and kick some ass because we don't want to deal with this shit. They acted like, oh my God, we got to deal with it already, and we haven't even done it yet. If that makes any sense. And it was just, I couldn't get over it.
Their coach didn't even talk to them after the game. He didn't even address the locker room. Just kind of was like,
don't blame him.
I kind of do. I mean, I think that's, I mean, I'm not, in with the Leafs, and we can absolutely move on. If you guys are done talking about, we can talk about happier things. I don't know. I just felt like it was a chicken shit thing to do among an evening that was themed for chicken shit. All around, but other things,
other things that I missed out on yesterday.
So yesterday, I just mean overall for the Leafs and for Toronto and for hockey, kind of a shit, just all around.
Well, anyway, just to sum it up, Mike, I think that you should exercise your Cleveland Browns option and walk away until they show you that you can come back.
The Browns clause.
Well, yeah, I think I might have invented it. I don't know. I'm probably sure.
Are you telling Mike to move to Baltimore? What do you?
No, I'm saying that he should invoke the Browns clause in his contract. This means if you're so fucking abysmal for this amount of time, and I've put this much effort into you. I have earned the right to walk away, and I'll come back when I'm damn good and ready, and you don't get to say anything about it. And that's what he's absolutely earned that. I think we've all our teams, you know.
I was trying to think of like a Browns agreement for like human beings. Like I will move to Baltimore, and then a new Mike will arrive in Tampa Bay in 3 years.
That too, yeah, right.
Well, no, it's
really
really
memories of old Mike.
Yeah, so Mike can retain all the Maple Leafs like history,
all the
his
history.
fandom.
He gets to keep his screen name on the boards. He still gets to be Ice Cap and all that. But the original Mike is, I don't know, off somewhere else, I suppose. Fuck him until they get past the first round, Mike. That's the best advice I can give you. Until like with the Browns, it was like, okay, I won't go deep into this, but the Hugh Jackson thing, just the series of disasters from 1999 until 2 years ago when they finally fired Hugh Jackson, and the whole bullshit lasted. Anyway, point being, like Zach said, we finally had that Slay the Dragon moment this year. We beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and
massacred them.
Yeah, and I won't go that far because that fucking game was still in doubt right to the very end. As far as I'm concerned, it's still not over yet. But and that was a moment where you go, okay, maybe things are different now. They might not be. They probably could come out and fall flat on their faces again next year. But for a moment, we had hope. And I really wish I had that sound clip of Morgan Freeman from Shawshank Redemption going, Hope. What's he say? Like hope can kill a man or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, if
hope can drive a man insane.
In British soccer and in the show Ted Lasso, which I highly recommend if you have Apple TV Plus, it's very good.
I'll check it out.
It even if you don't like soccer, I think you would like the show. But there's an old adage that it's the hope that kills you.
Yeah,
which is basically like if good things are, if you think that something good can still happen, then then you're already lost.
Well, you guys, I mean, I don't know if Mike felt like this. Probably not during the game last night because the Leafs showed absolutely no indication they were going to win. But in the playoff game, we were when the Browns and the Steelers. You guys saw me. Because that's how traumatized I've been over the years. They were up by some crazy amount. I didn't remember. I'm like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. And that's what these fucking teams do to you. So I'm telling Mike, use your walk away option and come back when they get their act straight. That's all I'm saying.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Good.
Have to have Atomic drop like a card that he can submit or something like that, or for any fan. Would you guys?
Hold on. I just to finish it up. I think I caught flack on the boards when I did that. I'm like, fuck you. I've been a Browns fan since before you were alive. I'll do what I want, and nobody can say a word about it. So, I don't know. Maybe people like, he's just a front runner, but front runner with a Browns fan, that's hysterical. But anyway, go ahead, Andy. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you guys want to do just to kind of lighten things up? Do the bussin' big?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Mike's first turn. No, Zach's first turn at this.
It's Zach's, yeah.
Well, I did it remotely last week.
I got to say how strange it was to see one of our co-hosts popping up in the comments. I was like, well, this is odd.
Yeah, I was waiting in a parking lot for a high school baseball game to start, so I was still busy. I just couldn't be recording.
I saw a high school baseball game last week.
Yeah. Sometimes they're exciting. Other times, like last week, I went to a 14-inning 2-1 high school baseball game.
Oh my God.
It was rough because high school games are only 7 innings. So it was essentially a double game. So I was supposed to cover a basketball game that night too, because it's obviously a very busy time, as I told you last week.
Yeah, well, don't you have fall sports or like?
Well, right. Everything kind of got delayed. So like basketball is going on at the same time as baseball is. So, it was the last week of the regular season for baseball, first round for basketball. I wanted to get to both, but instead I sat for 14 innings at a high school baseball field until some kid hit a walk-off homer. And I was like, thank God. I did my interviews as fast as I could, got in my car as fast as I could, drove down to the basketball game as fast as I could, which is only in the next town over. And I got to see the final 6 minutes of a 20-point blowout. So,
wow.
Wouldn't want to miss that.
And then when I went to go interview the coach afterwards, my phone died. So I didn't. What I had to write about the basketball game was told in my scribbly notes from what I asked the coach. So how'd the first quarter go? Yeah.
So, well,
comedy of errors.
Fun times out on the trail.
Yeah. High school baseball. The game I watched, it was like a Division I team playing a Division IV team.
Yeah.
So it was basically like watching, I don't know, the Yankees take on the I don't think it's some like double or single A team.
The Biscuits.
Exactly. And anyway, so are we ready? We got the thing ready to go here.
I'm ready.
Right.
Okay. So bussin'
Yeet and or bust.
So it's bussin' for like
Sorry, bust.
excellent. Bussin' like BUSSIN.
Yeah,
right.
Big yikes for that's embarrassing, and yeet for get it away from me. Honestly, though, at this point, I'm willing to amend the game to make it any sort of cringy term you would like, as long as it embarrasses children.
As Dennis calls it, the "How do you do, my fellow kids?"
Yeah, how do you do, fellow kids? Yeah, I think I'm going to make an intro for this eventually, but anyway,
I mean, like, there's unfortunately being a connoisseur of Gen Z through covering these high school kids, I've learned some terms that are just like, what, really? That's what you got?
Feel free to use them tonight here. Or
I should
anytime we do.
do 70s slang on this. That might be kind of funny.
Go for it. Well, here's option one.
Okay.
Number one of bussin' Big X and Eat is the 1999 Washington Capitals uniform set.
The whole thing, all three together.
All everything you see here, yes.
Yeet.
Whoa.
Hmm.
I'll say the Screaming Eagle jerseys are Pog Champs.
I think they are. Mike, go. I got to think of it from the 70s here. Go ahead.
Yeet.
Lame.
No, these are Poggers, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm all about bussin' for this.
Tired.
I think
You're tired.
man, I love this uniform. You guys are smoking weird weed or whatever. It is.
70s, man. It's not as regulated as it is now.
And number two, the Edmonton Elks have debuted they're no longer the Eskimos, they're the Edmonton Elks. They have a new helmet logo and all this stuff. What do you say?
I'm going bussin' on this. I think this is pretty slick.
I'm
not crazy about the helmet, but I like it. It's fine. I wish it was a little more ornate. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna say fire emoji.
Yeah.
These are fire. Yeah.
These are fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna give these. I'll give them a bussin'. I agree with Greg that they could be more like your Japanese elk helmets.
The Leashel deer or whatever they are.
Yeah,
the deers.
Like, because they are a little straightforward in terms of antler. They could be like Greg said, a little bit more ornate. Because isn't it like the bigger the antlers, the more alpha the deer? Isn't that the point?
Something like that. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it overall. I think the E they were going for with the.
Oh, okay. Now that you mentioned that,
it's supposed to be like E on one side and E on the other, and whatever. Still inferior to this, the Leashel deer. Glorious.
Yeah. Well, now that I put them side by side, I think the Japanese one looks a little like a tree.
Fair enough.
And yeah. As Dennis says, these have the drip.
Yeah, I love it. The elks are straight dripping. Things you don't want to read in most contexts. Very specific fetish. The dripping elk
drippings.
The sad part is that there are at least 15 people out there that have that very problem. Promise you, 15.
Oh,
over under. What do you think? 15 or higher or lower?
15 in our audience, or
no, in the world.
Oh, I mean,
in our audience, I think we've got to really reassess how we're doing things if that's the case. No, in the world, I think there are at least 15
that fetishize elk.
Yes.
Well, certainly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, there's furries. Those are so at least there's got to be at least 15.
I'm talking about the straight dripping thing, the whole bit, like the whole 9 yards.
Let's move on to the next thing.
Number 3. Or SF Giants gets involved and it's like, oh yeah,
right. Let's avoid that at all costs.
Unloads his bookmark collection of weird like anime.
38-minute YouTube.
We're still talking about it. We're moving on.
The grass furniture set or moss furniture set. What say you?
That's sorry. Totally sorry.
Oof.
That is sweet.
That's a yeet. I don't even want. I would like to not imagine this anymore. Big yeet.
I would say yeet. It's kind of. I feel like it's cool if it was like in a garden, like art piece or something, to where it was just kind of a novelty. But like in my home, no, because there'd be all sorts of bugs and probably stink after a while. Like animals would want to come inside and eat it. Pets. So yeah, that's a yeet from me. All right, number 5, the Heinz tomato ketchup candle.
To the max. Absolutely to the max. That's bussin' for those of you that don't speak 70s.
Big yikes.
Oh,
I'm going to say that's pretty chuggy.
Oh no. Man, I've been hearing chuggy a lot lately, and it just I feel let down anytime I see it.
Yeah, I don't like saying it out loud now that I've said it. It's one of those things that you've only read, but
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty chuggy. It's like a disgusting word to have in my mouth. I don't like it. Ugh.
Yeah, it is kind of a gross, doughy word that just doesn't. Ugh, I don't
like
try it.
ketchup too, or just have the label on it.
No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've not personally
It's supposed to
smelled it.
smell like ketchup.
I'm sure it smells exactly like.
I'm one of those people that puts ketchup on my ketchup, so I'm totally down with this. And it's bad, as in 70s bad, which means it's like straight off the charts awesome.
I would give that a like dab. If I'm dabbing in front of my microphone right now because I find it very bussin'. So
yeah, I don't stand this ketchup.
God, this is awful. All right, so here's the actual number 5, which is a delicious bacon, egg, and bagel breakfast sandwich.
Sheesh.
Wow.
There's a sheesh. Did you?
I'm
Oh,
busting.
yeah, I pointed to my elbow. At the same time. Right?
Ice in your veins.
Fingers on the arm. Yep.
That's busting, man. That's totally busting. I mean, I'd probably have a second heart attack, but fuck it looks good.
Yeet. That's a yeet.
Oh,
Straight up yeet.
Oh no, Mike. You're not going to join in the chorus of sheesh?
No, sorry, I can't.
That's all right. No, I got you.
That's
All right.
That's right there. Sorry.
All right. Next up is the Thomas the Tank Engine car.
Full snack.
It is a snack. That's a snack. What is it snack with 2 C's, or is that just thick?
No, you can use 2 C's if you want.
You could, yeah.
That's acceptable.
Is this better than the Clown Victoria from last week?
This is sending me, Andy. This is sending me.
I've not heard sending me. That's a new one.
No.
That's pretty beat. That's pretty beat.
Full snack.
Yeah.
No apologies.
Pretty beat.
No cap. This is sending me.
I hate no cap. God, I hate no cap.
I hate no cap. Also, I don't get it. I
Bet.
guess I'm not supposed to.
Bet. Am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah.
Kids are fucking dumb. Anyway, here's the next one. This giant glass beer baseball bat from the Pelicans.
I saw this.
Was that the Myrtle Beach Pelicans?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice little ballpark they have there if you've ever seen it.
Chef's kiss emoji.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say that's pretty bussin', actually.
I
It'd
mean,
be a little tough to drink.
that slaps. Honestly.
Absolutely. Does that mean good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that slaps for sure. That is like I said, that's to the max, man. That's really great.
This does not spark joy for me. I feel like I'm gonna have to yeet this just because I just don't. I love beer and I love to drink beer, but out of a fucking huge bat, like it'd be like, even if you took it home, it's this shit. You're never gonna use it again.
That thing's
just
bomb, not the bomb.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Andy. And I also think that because it's so big and because it's clearly meant to be drinking outside on a hot day, I think the once you get towards the hands of the bat, maybe you're going to be less thrilled with the purchase. But in the immediate,
this thing, how did this thing? First of all, if you finish this thing, the higher, like the more you drink of it, the more likely you are going to be to like wield it as a weapon and smash somebody.
Also true. How do they allow this to exist?
I can just imagine a bunch of shirtless minor league baseball oafs just in the stands, just fuck you and smashing one.
This is what we were hoping for just last week. This is exactly what we want. So this thing's perfect. I would look at that. If I drank that, you'd have to drag me out of there because I would be completely passed out at this point. That's got to be what you figure 4 or 5 12-ounce beers in there, roughly.
I mean, that thing probably costs $50.
Yeah. That's like you're drinking like a 6-pack. I'd be so fucking hammered I wouldn't know what was going on.
I actually agree with what you said before, Andy. How are they selling this during the game? That's like literally at Angel games, they stopped giving away the mini bats because people would use them during the game, and then but this was after they had shifted to giving it to you on the way out the door, so that you don't pee at people during the game, but in the parking lot is fine.
Oh, I just had a thought.
Ugh.
I just had a thought. This isn't full of beer. I think they didn't want to wait in line for the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh God!
Just passed it down the aisle.
That's a lot.
Fill her up, boys. Anyway, okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, let's move on. It just got weird.
All right, Brad Pitt's in Moneyball. What did you guys think of Moneyball? I don't think I've ever talked about this with you guys.
Bussin'.
It's a vibe.
Big yikes.
Wow, Mike is just being harsh tonight.
It's they didn't even win. Like, I don't know.
The movie's really good though. The movie is actually hilarious in that way, where it's like, wow, this team so great. Oh, we're gonna go do it, guys. Yeah. And the regular season ends, and then they give you the title card of the Oakland A's lost in the next, to the
as the usual. So talk about tough luck in the playoffs, Mike. At least you're not an A's fan on top of all this.
Like the movie is kind of funny in that way, where it is very good, and it's an extremely good like sports movie, but there isn't that like the climactic ending of the thing is, well, the A's went on to, they won 20 straight games at the end of the year, or 22 straight, whatever it was, and that's kind of like where the movie ends. They don't mention that, well, then the A's lost in the first round, and the Angels, who were actually right behind them the whole time and won 20, when the A's won 22 in a row, the Angels won 20 in a row and won the World Series. And then the A's never won anything ever again. They kind of like shuffle that under the rug, just like, hey, don't worry about that.
Well, you know what else they left?
Really
they made us like it was Scott Hatteberg and they had Bradford. And it's like you forgot they had Barry Zito, they had Mark Malter, they had Eric Chavez, who got his name actually mentioned once.
Right.
And
they don't mention any of the actual good players.
That Tejada. They were pretty stacked. Even though they lost Giambi, which was the big plot point, we've lost Giambi, had to replace him. They were still pretty stacked. I mean, I think what was his name? Jermaine Dye. I think he played for that team along with David Justice. They had
sounds right. Yeah.
Was his name Terrence Long? I can't remember. They had a good left fielder. He was good for a few years, really solid player. But they act like it was those two dudes they brought in that were specialists. Like Scott Hatteberg couldn't play first base. We could hit.
It's certainly one of those things that if you don't know anything about it, like it's an amazing story too.
Yeah,
I still think it's a very well done movie. If you conveniently ignore,
I loved it. Yeah, but you got to ignore a lot of stuff because I think Tejada was the MVP that year.
Yeah,
I think he hit like 350 with like 45 home runs, so that helps. Sure, you want to go out and find runs from guys that you wouldn't normally get them from, like Scott Hatteberg, but having Chavez and Tejada and just that lineup didn't hurt a thing either.
Or did the movie end with them showing like the Jeter play to be like, oh, it only took some amazing effort to beat them in the playoffs? Is that
it ended with them basically like with Billy Bean like going to Boston to get an offer from whoever the Boston guy was. Right. Yeah. Anyway, I really like the movie. I'm with Zach. Great movie.
Yeah, it's a bussin' sports movie. If you want to get in the details, it's like with any sports movie, the more you get in the weeds, the more you're going to find something to.
Yeah, you've got to suspend your disbelief to watch most of these sports movies because they're the ones that would be actually accurate. You probably wouldn't like that well.
No,
they're like, we did this. We got Chad Bradford and Scott Hatteberg, but hey, we've also got these really fucking super stud players too. People are gonna be like, yeah, who cares?
Just overlook that, please.
Yeah.
All right, the penultimate Bus and Yeet or is the custom made anti-splash piss tube, complete with bracket. Here,
I got to give that a big yikes or no.
I'm gonna
that's
say
a big yikes.
That's pretty sus.
There's a good one.
Because like I look at that and I think, oh yeah, sure, that's what it's for.
I mean, I feel like this could be on like Shark Tank, is like the elephant trunk or something.
I feel
You
like
know?
someone's attaching the other end of that to a vacuum cleaner. Is what I feel like someone's probably doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I love that there is a wait list. That's the main thing. That's like, get in now because I am completely back ordered with these. That's a big yikes for me, but I figured
That's pretty sus.
worth the laugh. Let's see. We got a last one here, and then we can talk about whatever. The last one, go out on a positive note here. It's delicious. Peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, that's bussin'. That's like 3 buses. I don't even know if that means anything, but I'm down with these to the max.
Those are snatched.
Snatched. Yeet. Fine.
Sorry, I'm weird. I don't like chocolate and peanut butter together.
That's all right.
Michael, you break my heart. You just broke my heart.
I
how
mean,
could you?
This is why he lost the candy draft. So, fine.
There it is. There's this week's edition of Bussin' Big Yikes or Yeet or Hello Fellow Kids, whatever you want to call it.
The youths.
The Utes.
Uh,
I'm still stunned. Really said like no Reese's cups for you then, Mike, right?
No.
Wow. All right. Well, hey man, I'm just to each his own. I just wow.
Yeah. I've picked my team Justice for the rest of the playoffs, by the way.
Me too.
For
Let's
the
hear it.
Hockeys. Well, it's the New York Islanders.
It's fair.
I'm strangely in love with this team. I like the way they play. They've found their scoring touch here in the playoffs, and they're fighting for the honor of the Nassau Coliseum, which is fun. So, and I want them to beat the shit out of Boston. I would love them to beat either Carolina. Like, I don't care who wins Carolina, Tampa, because I want either one to lose in the next round. And then I hope for NBC's final go round, they get Islanders Winnipeg for the Cup final.
He just
drill the masses.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Exact same thing. Isles first, Jets second. That's it.
Yeah, my top would be the Jets. Jets Isles Cup final would be fantastic.
Although, I mean, like, I don't even if it's Winnipeg, say Colorado in the next round, Colorado is just so goddamn good. Like, I want them to just run. Like, when it comes to team justices, if Colorado can just eviscerate Vegas in this round, like sweep them out of like that 7-1 in the first game, do that 3 more times. There is no way that you could ruin the rest of the playoffs for me if you just humiliate those stupid desert shiny golden nonsense team.
Remember when I was saying that they might be good for their first year, and then by like year 3, people will be going, "Well, that was fun." What happened there?
They're still good. The problem is they sold their souls pretty quickly because they're kind of getting in salary cap issues. Like,
okay,
they put a lot on the line to win this year in particular, and last year, but this year even more so. Like, at the end of the year, because of injuries and because of the salary cap situation, they literally had to play a game where they had 10 forwards and 5 defensemen instead of the normal 12 and 7 or 12 and 6. And it was just like, this is the bargain you've made, Vegas Golden Knights.
So I wasn't
now you get to live with it.
The bill is going to come due on this eventually.
Oh yeah, they are paying a heavy price to not win it all. So get ready for that downfall, which will be delicious. And also get ready for I hope it doesn't happen because the Ducks are involved in the draft lottery. But tomorrow night is the NHL draft lottery, where for everyone's enjoyment, you can lose to an expansion team before they even play, which would be fun because Seattle automatically gets the 3rd best odds in the draft lottery.
They start this fall.
They start this year.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All
Seattle
right,
Kraken coming to Climate Pledge Arena this fall.
All right.
I was curious. One thing we did not get to discuss last week. Sorry, we can come back to hockey if you guys want. I wanted to get this in before it got too late. So last week we had a very interesting little moment in the uniform world where a firework of bad decisions occurred, and it died as quickly as it occurred, as it bloomed. into this like
this.
colorful, bombastic.
Do you have a picture of these we can put
Oh
up?
yeah. So
Good.
the new era.
Do we want to go through all of them, or are we just gonna like skim them?
Let's just. I don't know what the point would be, but we can go either way.
All right. Sorry, I'm delaying it. Go ahead.
That's all right. So basically, the new era thought it'd be so cool to put out these local market hats that have clip art and like mottos.
If you're somebody who likes to put pins on your hats, maybe this is the market they're trying to hit on.
I mean, to be fair, I think these actually sold reasonably well for the brief time they were available. But it was the PR. Well, there's something regarding the an area code or something that got them pulled. But anyway,
wasn't the backlash that got them pulled off the website?
I think that was part of it, but I thought there was something with like some area code, because as you see on the front of the cap here, it has all the different area codes, or some area codes of these cities.
Some is the key word for some of them. Yeah.
And,
but like I know, like I if you're referring to what I think you're referring to, Pittsburgh doesn't have an area code on theirs.
Wait, stop at Cleveland. I want to see what they put on there for the area code.
So Pittsburgh doesn't have an area code because there's a company that for the 412 area code.
That's right.
That they sell Pittsburgh sports merchandise themed to the area code. They actually have like a copyright on the area code.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's pretty shrewd, actually. Now that I think about it, go back to Cleveland for a second, Andy.
And like Dennis mentioned, there's a few in here that are simply missing local area codes altogether.
I think that's what happened with the Indians too. That's what I want to see. Did they just put 216 on? Oh, okay. Where's 419? Where's 330? Where's 614?
Well, right. And so like the Angels only have 714, which is Northern Orange County. It's not the area code I live in, which is like, so it's like, okay, if you're going to do the Angels and you're only going to give them one Orange County area code, despite them always being Los Angeles, you're not going to give them a couple others. And if that's the case, then why aren't you giving the Dodgers X, Y, and Z other area codes? And if that's the case, why are you giving the Dodgers these area codes? Like, some of them are really messed up in terms of like what area codes are and aren't on there. The other thing, at least for the California teams, there's 5 California teams, right? And if you can see that we're looking at the Dodgers and the Angels ones right now, the Dodgers, Angels, Padres, and Oakland A's all have the palm tree on the front, the grizzly bear on the left-hand side, and the taco on the back side. And those are like the identifying features. But the Giants, they get the Golden Gate Bridge, and they get sushi, and they get the bear as well. But
the train or whatever, the trolley. Right. Yeah.
So Oakland doesn't really have palm trees. And there's plenty of other foods around here besides tacos. I don't know. Just like California's a big state. Don't lump us all in together like that, please.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like I don't know what Cincinnati's had. I didn't see it, but there should be more than one area code on theirs too. It's like 513, I think 614. 614 should be on there. Probably if you're going to be technical, 606 out of Kentucky should be, or whatever. The Florence, Kentucky. Come on. But they sent out a tweet. MLB sent out a tweet, and they said, "What do you think of these new? What are these called? Market ready hats?
Local market
hats.
Local. Yeah. They go, what do you think of these local market? These are the new local market hats. Thoughts?" And I wrote, "They look fucking stupid. Hope that helps the research." I tweeted that to Major League Baseball.
Does somebody want to explain to me why there's a cherry for Detroit?
They grow cherries in Michigan.
Oh. Yeah, is that what it is? Is that because I know there's something to do with cherries up there?
Yeah, Michigan grows a lot of cherries.
Let's see, like they're short a couple area codes too. I think 313.
What is that thing on the back? Like, there's a D and a I don't know.
There's like let's see.
I don't
know. And it's got it looks like some crossed pistons on the front.
Yeah, that makes sense for the automotive industry. But
it Outlaws Motorcycle Gang, because that's pretty much their logo.
It just, I don't know, because this is all like open source, like free clip art. Just pulled, so I have no idea. Houston, of course, the Photoshops are great, by the way.
With the trash can.
Yeah. The fucking cowboy hat, the steak. You got a pig. for barbecue, I guess.
And
Maybe known for
and a saxophone, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe Cleveland and Kansas City should get together and jam.
Marlins
Miami.
got
I think
the
that's
palm
the
tree
same.
again.
I think that's the same palm tree.
Let's see. Let's find out.
Like-
So no. That's a singular palm tree.
Oh, okay.
Andy, what did you say the Miami one should have on? I thought it was hilarious.
I think it was supposed to have cocaine and like somebody on bath salts or something. I don't know.
Shooting a machine gun or something. It was great, whatever it was.
I can't remember. Milwaukee's got cheese,
cheese,
and
of course.
a Badger beer, real novel stuff. Some
Minnesota's got
Burger?
a tumor-ridden lung. It looks like there on the front
yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
cross section. From
Welcome
And
to Minnesota.
then a random hamburger on the back. Like,
Let's see.
all right.
It's Juicy Lucy. What the Juicy Lucy? That sounds really
Yeah, right.
questionable. Juicy Lucy, Minnesota. Okay, so it's a hamburger. A Juicy Lucy is a cheeseburger with cheese inside the meat instead of on top, resulting in a melted core of cheese.
Well, you know what else will melt the core of cheese? Throwing it on the burger while it's on the grill. Get the same effect. A lot less trouble. A lot less. I like the free lung scan you get when you go to the Twin Cities. That's kind of a cool thing.
The Mets just. I mean that. God, like
Is that a boombox?
yeah.
Oh Lord.
This really is just like clip art. Like I feel like I've seen that exact Statue of Liberty picture.
Yeah.
A million times.
I that would have been great if it would have been great, but like if they had like no, I shouldn't say it. I was going to say there's something about the World Trade Center. I'll just move on. The same shit. Oh, they have Big Apple. So wait, so they both have a Big Apple, and that's it.
Yeah, they both have the same. It's a Statue of Big Apple, the pizza, and the boombox.
World Series. They both
Different World Series patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been great if they had like a. I don't know. Never mind. Just moving on.
Oh, you can't leave us hanging, man. Come
Well,
on.
no, that wasn't going to be bad. I was going to say something about having. I was trying to remember the guy who hit the game-winning hit in Game 7 against the Yankees for the Diamondbacks.
Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez silhouette just like hitting a single to win the game. See, Philly's got a cheesesteak, I think is what that is.
A bell, and then some
1776.
I don't know. Like all this stuff is so low effort. It's like, what do we do for the Phillies? Let's put the Liberty Bell. Like, really? That's the best you got?
I love the Pittsburgh just steel beam. Just kind of,
the head-on steel beam. And on the back it just says Yinzer.
Yinzer. At least
yeah,
they get into it.
They should have. I mean, because I thought like a black and tan, because that's like usually a big Pittsburgh drink.
Mm-hmm.
But no, just
was it called Yingling?
Yingling beer. Yeah,
isn't that out of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that would have been much better.
Yeah, well,
I think the Yingling's more a Philadelphia thing.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
And then Mariners.
Mariners got an orca. The orca's actually pretty cool. I'd be okay with the orca. You know, you don't see.
What's that
orcas
thing on the
much.
front of the hat?
It's like a totem pole looking design.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
Paul Lucas will rank at 30th now. After that,
he's taking it off the list. Speaking of racism, here's the St. Louis Cardinals.
I was looking for the Bosnia-Herzegovina flag, and I'm not seeing.
Yeah, where's the Bosnian flag? That's disappointing.
What is that?
Or their wrong cut bagels, or
the fuck with those bagels? I mean, seriously, we've been over this.
Is that cheese on the back?
I can't tell. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
They're cheese and crackers, Mike.
Crackers? That'd be great if it was crackers.
I know, right?
All of St. Louis. They're wrapped up in a little bun. It looks like ravioli.
What's that weird cheese? Don't they do like a weird cheese thing with pizza out there or something?
Yeah, it's Provel or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, toasted ravioli. That's what it says on there.
Oh.
T-Rav.
T-Rav? Kiss my ass.
That's what the little paragraph says.
Bunch of shit. So Florida get an orange.
Yeah, why is the hat not covered in like a gray dome?
It's just a flavorless.
It's not even the right area code. I guess it is for Tampa.
Well,
but St.
it's
Yeah,
Tampa, but it's not
that's-
St. Petersburg.
That's Tampa's area code, but not
Well,
St. Pete's.
St. Pete's is 305, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you've got the same fucking palm tree as the Marlins and an orange. Oh god,
They couldn't have botched this any worse if they.
what is with that cartoon ass Looney Tune cowboy hat?
Yosemite
that's-
Sam.
Yeah,
It's the same one from the
Big
Astros
finger,
hat,
one
which
finger
the
on the
star
other
looks
side
like
there?
the star looks like an asterisk on the Astro hat. Did we already talk about that?
Somebody,
That's the
somebody
same cowboy hat that the star kind of is because it's so low res and small.
The other thing somebody pointed out, I think this article points out, is that this one, the Rangers one, has a foam finger.
Yeah, that's what
You've never seen a foam finger at a baseball game.
I
They
have-
don't sell
no.
them at baseball games.
I think I've
And
seen
then-
it, but I wouldn't
They sell
no-
them, sure.
No pun intended. I
and then
wouldn't have them,
Toronto
but-
just they put a maple leaf,
A redundant
poutine.
maple leaf.
a
Yeah.
redundant maple leaf.
Yep.
It looks like a Toronto pennant, and I'm trying to figure out what's on the back.
Well, that's poutine, Mike.
Poutine.
Oh,
and,
poutine?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
what's-
traditional Toronto staple of poutine.
Yeah, like poutine's a Quebec thing. Like,
What's that thing on the right? The other
yeah,
one.
I'm trying to figure out what the other
Is that
thing
the
is.
pub-
I think that's just
No, that's not on.
Ontario.
That's not Ontario. Ontario
No.
has like Ontario doesn't
Or-
look like that.
I think that's Ontario, but cut off.
Oh,
Like we
Well-
don't want to include the rest of it.
well, Northern Ontario can get fucked then, I guess. But yeah, no, the poutine, which is more of a Quebec thing, and the maple leaf, real inspired there.
I literally, it's right next to another one. Like,
Right.
did you
Yeah.
think we were going to forget?
I love this commentary here. They designed this one last, didn't they? Wow. Washington. Washington should have had like a burning Capitol building, and
Again, hot dogs, a Washington D.C. staple.
Yeah,
Hey, you can't get those anywhere else.
and like an eagle because like America, I guess. But like, do bald eagles even live in that area of the
Not
country?
in the district.
No.
I really doubt it. Maybe in Maryland and surrounding areas, but because they,
No, but America, Mike.
Okay.
wouldn't the monuments have been a better thing? I mean, nothing's gonna say this.
Well,
but
no, like literally pick any like the Lincoln Memorial or the Washington Monument. Like, just pick any one and
Yeah.
put them on. That would have been better.
White House on one side, Capitol on the other. Anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe they didn't want to put the Capitol on there because of.
that's what I mean.
You know. Well, like, and there's the other thing that
That's it.
we're not touching on with on some of these is the patch on the side. So the patch is supposed to be for the last World Series you won.
Mhm.
So there are some teams that obviously don't have one of those.
Yeah. So let's go through a few of those. Like,
Texas has the Texas flag.
yeah.
I
So-
know the Padres
to know
has
with
the
our
swinging
phone
fire.
finger.
The Rays just have their stupid Deveray logo with the
Yeah,
gradient.
it's usually like a throwback logo or something like that.
Yeah.
Seattle just
logo.
did the same logo twice. Like, it's
Yeah. The one that I find interesting, which kind of gives you maybe a insight to the timeline on these things, is the Dodgers one is still the 1988 patch, not last season's.
Mhm. So this was obviously in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
go back to what was it? San Francisco. Is it close by?
Back if I-
There was something on the back of the hat that I wanted to see. It was like it looked like
Jesus.
4 like coins or some shit.
That's
Sushi.
sushi.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I got you. All right, never
Yeah.
mind. But,
It's just bad looking sushi.
No.
because it looks like coins stacked up in this poker game I play on my iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly
I
suck.
like how they didn't even bother to differentiate the Mets and Yankees ones. They're just like they're the
Well,
same thing.
They did that with a lot of them to where they just kind of were like, just change the logo, call it a day. You know, we don't have, just fuck it. You can tell they probably sat on these, like you said, for a year.
I'd be pissed if I were a fan of one of the teams that had one area code, and that's it. Like I live in the 419 area code, which is outside of Cleveland, and then you've got the 440, which is right next to Cleveland, 330, which is like accurate, and there's a ton of them. And it's like, well, fuck you guys. Well, then fuck you too. We'll go to Mud Hens games. The hell with you.
It's like I said, like the Angels one. Not that I would ever buy one of these monstrosities, but it doesn't have my area code on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, the funny
what
thing-
am I going to do with that?
the funny thing about-
who cares about the fucking area codes?
The funny thing about the Rays is that they picked the area code for the part of the market that's like least likely to go.
Right.
Like,
305
They didn't
makes
even
way
pick
more
the
sense.
area code their stadiums in.
yeah,
come on.
like out of the 3 cities that make up Tampa Bay, like Tampa's probably like the most inconvenient, to go to a Rays game from. It's amazing.
It's funny. It's funny on the ones where they excluded some, and then it's funnier on like the Atlanta or on the Minnesota hats that have like 12 area codes listed.
Right.
It's like, so some of them you have to be either too specific or just not list them, and then on others you list all of them. So what are you going for here exactly?
Mike, I really quick on the Rays. From where you live by Ybor City, right?
Around there, yeah.
Which is clearly the Tampa side of things.
Yeah.
If you go to a Rays game, how long in general does it take you to go? Like if you go to the Trop, I'm sure you've been there at least once. Unfortunately,
it depends on traffic, but usually you're talking maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and I think we can both agree that the Trop is located really in the middle of fucking nowhere. If like in the middle of a town, but it's not convenient to anything.
No, it's not. It's not convenient. Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, you know, if you were in Clearwater or if you were in Tampa, Clearwater or St. Pete, it would be easier to get to. But you know, Tampa, it's not. So they pick the area code.
Right.
They pick the area code literally on the other side of the water.
Yeah.
And it's not like a little jaunt, like a 10-second jaunt across the water. It's a ways. It's not small.
Oh, so I found out what that like weird patch is on the Twins.
Oh yeah, is it the lakes or something?
Here's the thing. So it's supposed to be like a topographical map of some lakes because Minnesota is the land of 1,000 lakes. But they just chose, like, they basically looked at a map of Minnesota's lakes and chose 3 random ones and just said, we'll make this into a patch.
Oh, wow. So I thought they took those things off because the backlash, they did not go over well. There was one guy I saw, well, I kind of like him. Other than that,
there was a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was like Andy's saying that there's some legal reason they took him down, but to me, it just seems like everyone in the world shat on them, so they said, "Okay, fine."
From what I can tell, the White Sox and the Cubs both have the same like designs too, like deep dish pizza and
it's like I said, all of California, despite being separated by, you know, if you want to drive from San Diego to Oakland, that's probably a 9 to 10 hour drive, but yet they get all the same.
Palm tree.
Oh my God!
Bear.
So apparently the Braves have a UFO on theirs.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. The Braves have a UFO on theirs. There are 2 theories as to why a UFO is on the Braves hat.
Oh, give me the UFO theories.
The first is that it's a reference to Outkast's 1996 album ATLiens.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Or it could be the fact that in 1973, future President Jimmy Carter filed a UFO report in Georgia.
I'm going with that.
It could be both. I mean, who's to say?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two.
Apparently the Orioles put on Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh yeah, that was not well received at all. Because he's a Boston native.
Yeah.
And isn't that why the Ravens are also called the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I just figured because of that, I figured that there was some connection besides the fact that he lived it.
He lived in Baltimore like around near the end of his life, but he's actually from Boston.
Well, I may be remembering this completely wrong because it's been 20 some years now, but didn't he write the Raven in that area?
Yeah, that's why the Ravens are called the Ravens.
Called the Ravens. Okay.
Because he did write the poem "The Raven" while he was living in Baltimore. But this Washington Post article I'm reading was great. The Blue Jays hat features an image of poutine because Toronto is sort of close to Montreal. Oh God!
I don't know how close they are in relation to each other, Mike. But I know when I lived in Syracuse, Montreal was about a 7-hour drive north, and I could get to Toronto in 3.
It's about roughly, I want to say 8 hours. Maybe 8 hours from Toronto to Montreal by road.
intergalactic travel, that's right next door to each other. You know?
I mean, yeah. But no, this is the this tweet I think is oh fuck, I hit the wrong button. Okay. So yeah, no, this tweet I think sums this up brilliantly.
Oh, here we go. I got it. I got it ready.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Let me get back over here.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Not gonna argue.
Now, which MLB team would have had Jesus? It's got to be the Angels, right? Like
Oh no, I would go with
The Cardinals.
the Cardinals.
well, either the Cardinals. I was gonna say the Cardinals or the Rangers.
They've got triple Jesus. They'd have to put 3 of them on there.
Cardinals, Rangers. I don't know the Reds. I can see it happening with the Reds too.
What about? What did you think about the soon-to-be former Indians putting a guitar on theirs?
Well, of course they did because everybody in Cleveland plays guitar. Didn't you know that?
It's a fucking acoustic guitar too. It's
Yeah,
not even
it's
like
not even an
an
electric.
God.
Oh,
I try to think of what would represent Cleveland better than that. And there are numerous. I mean, like Terminal Tower.
You could. What about the glasses from like the guy from Major League? You know, something like that, to where
Yeah,
it's
I mean, there's
a
just
subtle.
that guitar.
A
First
burning
off,
lake.
yeah, if you really want to have fun with it. But yeah, there's lots of things. You know, there's just this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. I don't think people understand it. First off, the thing's a fucking joke. People around here don't take it very seriously. We don't like go, we're the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, the city does for Chamber of Commerce bullshit, but the people, it's like, nah, it's, you know, you guys kind of a botched this in the beginning.
so you know how some of them have, like little quotes on them.
Yeah, they all.
Well,
do.
someone I'm liking this one. Someone changed up the quote on the San Francisco Giants hat that I quite like. 2-bedroom, $4,800 a month, parking extra.
Yeah. I also love that Los Angeles. It says Los Angeles, and underneath it, City of Angels. Like,
Thank you.
yep, huh?
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, there's a team called the Angels, so maybe don't put that on the hat. But what do I know?
Someone added on the Detroit Tigers one player batting above 300.
Yeah, like on the Dodgers one, there was so many more like cliched bullshit you could put for a Los Angeles hat. Like, where's the Hollywood sign? Where's a star for the Walk of Fame? Like,
Right.
something. There are things that are so cliched but more specific that you could have done to all of these things that they just chose to not do, which is
Dennis says that guitar is a ukulele. That's probably more accurate.
I didn't see the front of the Orioles hat until just now. They've got some weird colonial patch
It's a boat.
of a boat.
It's like a man of war.
It looks like something you would see at like grandma's house or something. Like, I don't know. It's so odd.
Again, shame on anyone who bought these things for reasons other than, you know, for the lulz. Like, if you bought this because you thought that, no, I'm gonna legit wear this because represent the town, pox on your house.
Yeah.
Is that was that boat, like wasn't Baltimore one of the first places that had the iron like boats in the Civil War? Is that what I'm thinking?
It's a Mayflower for the
Yeah,
truck
but it's
that
not. But
took
it's
the-
not one of. It's not an
Full-time.
ironclad. It's just an old sailing ship. Like, it's weird. It's
This is what we delivered the slaves on.
oh no!
Wow.
No!
Well, fuck. I mean, that's what I'm saying though. If somebody could get that impression, it's not a good move.
Oh God!
Am I wrong?
The only thing I'll say about these is that I'm kind of in the mood for deep dish. So,
Yeah.
like, after seeing the little pictures of the deep dish pizza, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I'm down.
We got to talk about one more thing. Speaking of Chicago, got it queued up right here. The latest in the City Connect uniform series.
South side, strong side.
Definitely not Fleet.
Fleek? Is it on
Fleek.
Fleek?
It's not Fleek.
I don't hate these completely.
I mean,
my assessment as well.
I don't know. I guess I have mixed opinions on them.
They're better than Boston's.
That doesn't say much.
and Are they better than Miami's?
A room full of chimps could have come up with something better than Boston's.
I will say that we've had 3 of these unveiled so far, and I think Boston's are clearly the worst ones.
And Miami's the best, and
Right.
we kind of fall in the middle.
The White Soxes don't even look like baseball uniforms, whereas the other 2 are at least attempting baseball.
I mean, the big thing I find funny about these is just that. I mean, granted, I'm not from Chicago, but from what I've heard, both from people who are and from just doing my own cursory research, isn't Southside usually spelled as 2 words?
Yes.
Like, so it's wrong. The jersey is wrong.
I'm not, I'm not from the city. I can't speak for people who live in the city.
Find out. You guys look or talk, and I'll look.
I've got family in the South Side. I almost like completely have only experienced being on the South Side, and I've always referred to it in 2 words, but namely,
like the Wikipedia page. Granted, this is not, it's Wikipedia, not official, but the Wikipedia page is 2 words.
Will we take encyclopedia.com, Chicago History, or encyclopedia.chicagohistory.org? They've got it as 2 words. Yeah. I put it this way. None of this is definitive, but I've yet to see one where it's 1 word.
The Wikipedia article is South Side 2 words.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has its own Wikipedia.
Chicago.gov, South Side District Map. It's 2 words there. Or South Side.
When they refer to like the White Sox as the South Siders, is that 1 word?
No.
I don't know. It's South based Spiders, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't think the jersey's too bad. It's a little, I don't know.
It's
like when it came to this like whole concept, this is what I was thinking that Nike was going to be doing more so than what they did for Boston. Like this is like it's truer to the team identity. It touches on a little bit of city history by doing the whole. This is what the rocks on the buildings are like. Whatever that.
All right, I'm going to point out something here. Maybe you guys will see it, maybe you won't. But if you look at that and kind of like don't really zoom in on it, or it looks like it says Smith Side.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Right?
I really,
if you ignore the line on the O, yeah.
I really hate this type of font. I hate the S that the White Sox have used. I even hate the diagonal script socks, which we've gone over this before. If they had just left this that kind of C, I would have been a lot happier about it. But they couldn't help themselves. They had to have chi, and it fucks the whole thing up. I like the numbers. I like the little clefts here, little flavors, the serifs.
The hat logo should have just been a C.
Right.
My favorite part is the pattern
lowercase.
That if you're 3 feet away, you can't see it, but it represents the buildings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the big comparison that people are going to make to these are the Clippers Compton uniforms, and these feel more honest. We talked about this in our text chat, but the White Sox have a long history, representing the South Side of Chicago. They have a legitimate fan base there. So I feel like this is far more authentic. Tony La Russa. Oh my god!
Seriously, how does this fucking guy still have a job?
Oh my god!
That's not a Photoshop. That's what he looks like wearing the uniform.
I don't know. I hope it is. I want to see if I can find a larger resolution of it.
But yeah. Unlike the Clippers, at least these feel like more legitimate. But the idea of a dark uniform with white pinstripes is pretty cool too. That's kind of neat. I'm kind of meh about it. I don't like the whole South Side on the front, but that's kind of what these are going for. So whatever.
I like the jersey. I think they're going to do the fold uniform is going to be the black with white pinstripes with the hardly discernible building pattern on both the pants and the jerseys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I think this would look much better over like white or gray pants than they're going to look like full black. It's just because it gives it a real softball team feel when you go the full monochrome like that. So that's my only issue. With the jersey's okay. I'm not crazy about the South Side, but I've seen way worse Boston, and they're all right.
Oh man, I couldn't find a picture of Tony La Russa in that uniform. I think it's a mock-up, but I did find a picture of him just by Googling him, and he just looks like shit. He looks like
I don't get this. You've got an extremely talented team. Why are you bringing this old fucking codger in to manage him? I don't understand it. I don't
first place though.
Well, yeah, but I think he can be better. I mean, he got mad at one of his hitters for hitting a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah,
because these unwritten.
We were gonna talk about that. It's I think last week or whatever. But like, because there was the combination of at least this season, somebody got mad at Fernando Tatis Jr. for I forget what,
being an exciting baseball player.
No, yeah, well, it was something. It was literally something like they got mad at him for being excited. I guess I don't remember.
Enough with this.
Like this has happened to him before, but I forget what the exact reason was this season. And then you have Tony La Russa getting mad at a kid for hitting a home run. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to bring up in regards to this, because you have Tony La Russa being stupid. Dave Roberts got mad at the Angels. Dave Roberts and Clayton Kershaw got mad at the Angels. They were down 13-0, and the Angels had the audacity to try and bunt to like advance a runner. It was like, it wasn't a no-hitter. It wasn't a perfect game. There was nothing like breaking up. They just were,
The Angels were down 13?
Yeah.
They were down and they bunted and the Dodgers got mad?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous.
And it didn't start the comeback, but the Angels ended up making it like a 13-11 game later in the final 3 innings. It was kind of an incredible comeback almost, but it's like, yeah, you're down in a game. You're trying to get anything going to start offense. I understand the like gentlemanly thing to do during a no-hitter is to not bunt, to like not cheap your way into a hit. But like, if there's nothing else going on, just go play baseball, you dummies.
There was a catcher. I think his name was Dan Davis. He played for the Diamondbacks. This was probably 10, 12 years ago. He broke up a no-hitter with a bunt. And everybody's pissed is like, yeah, I can see that. But I also, as being as much of a traditionalist as I am, I also believe that, look, your job as a batter is to get on base. And if he found a way to get on base and it was by a bunt, and he broke up a no-hitter, well, you know what? You should have thought of that and played him for the bunt. Most pitchers don't bunt, for fuck's sake. I don't know. I just think these rules, especially in an era where baseball is not terribly exciting, that maybe you don't want to try to tamp down the emotions of your better players like Tatis and guys like that. Maybe let them have a little fun. Just saying. Just an idea.
Yeah, he's a candy ass. Whatever. I give no fucks about Tony La Russa. And I mean, the White Sox, I kind of passively kind of like, yeah, cool, go White Sox, sure. But Tony La Russa, just fuck that guy. He has no business being back in the game.
I know that they're doing well right now, but I don't know that they would.
Not because of him. Quite the opposite.
I was going to say, I think that they might be doing even better without him. I don't know. I don't understand it. I've not understood it since they hired him. I thought, the guy's like, what, 80?
Well, but there's no secret as to why he was hired. He was hired as a favor from the White Sox, Jerry Reinsdorf, because he was righting a wrong from the 80s to bring in this old bag of shit.
Well, dude's won what? 2 World Series, 3 since then?
No, there's no denying that he's, a decorated manager and alcoholic. But there's why the game, but he's been out of the game for a long time. He has no place in it. There were better options available to the White Sox. And,
like any one of us.
I mean, really, there was I can't remember who he manages the Tigers now. I can't remember his name. Former Astros skipper. Can't remember his name anyway. But yeah, they went with TLR and now they're winning, but nobody's from what I've. Sorry,
Brad Ausmus.
No, Hinch. Yeah, AJ Hinch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
because he got fired after the whole trash can thing. So
yeah, but he was, it was sort of like it would make sense from an age perspective and just an opportunity. You kind of got to take a chance, and the White Sox, just from a culture You know, I feel like that would have been I would have understood it more. But when you have, a group of really exciting young talent that is just about to break out, and they have a lot of flavor, a lot of culture, and a lot of people of color, and then you bring in Tony La Russa, who's a back the blue, not a big fan of BLM, and just kind of like antithesis of a lot of the kind of momentum. Not politics aside, it's more of the just fit nature of it.
You don't bring in an 80-year-old guy to manage a young team. I mean, not unless this guy's. I mean, and Tony La Russa's got a track record, and if his service had been continuous up to this point, and he just left, say, I don't know, San Diego to go to Chicago, that's one thing. Yeah. But the idea of bringing him in with this young up and coming team, and he hasn't understood like player culture since the fucking 80s. Yeah. Let's be honest about it.
And you need the White Sox were looking for sort of that Joe Madden hire that the Cubs did, to where you have it's to the right guy at the right time. And this was like the worst guy at the worst time. And
La Russa, before this, the last time he managed was how long ago? 6-7
years, I think.
He was like a consultant scout with the Angels for the last couple of years. And it's that's like, to me, when he was hired by the Angels, it seemed like it was like a one of those ceremonial desk jobs.
Here's a favor. Well, yeah, we're gonna let you wear a golf shirt around with an Angels logo on it. We'll pay a few bucks and stay the fuck out of the way, basically.
Right. And so, like, who's to say that he even knows how the game was being managed in a modern sense?
Right.
That he should be given this opportunity, but whatever.
Yeah,
it hasn't hurt them totally yet.
Yeah.
They're 33-21. They're the only team in their division with a positive run differential, if that matters to anybody.
I also want to give huge props to the Dodgers fans that were in Houston last week.
Yeah, they had a huge group go. That was cool.
Very nice. Well done.
I wanted to shout out too before we get out of here. We've talked about a little bit how awesome it is for crowds to be back at sporting events. Yeah. I got to say, AEW just had a return to live crowds over this past weekend. Not a huge crowd by any means, but it was still a good crowd. And I mean, it's just, of all the things that benefit from having a live crowd, professional wrestling absolutely needs a live crowd to function properly. I mean, yes, major leagues, all the NFL and hockey, they all benefit from having sports fans. But for wrestling, it's like a stage performance where you need that feedback from the crowd to determine certain things and to play out the actions and the storylines. And when there's not, it just feels like such shit. And they had some really cool.
You didn't like the WWE's like virtual.
No, fuck all that. Yeah,
WrestleMania? Not the most recent one, 2020 WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. It was basically just a bunch of staged bunch
of screens.
When they like the Undertaker fought
AJ Styles in a
graveyard. That was like a movie. They did like a little movie thing.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That was what I was like little vignette.
I was embarrassed by that personally. I don't. That's not wrestling to me. I don't know what that was.
No, it was a badly acted, poorly choreographed fight scene from a Western or something. I love Taker. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, dude, this is not the way to go out.
Yeah.
Crowds coming to wrestling is the most important. I think, maybe we can like take this all the way back around, but I think a live crowd in Toronto might have helped the Leafs an awful lot last night.
Well, they had frontline workers there.
Yeah, but that's not enough. But
and then they got booed. So,
but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of why Quebec is like. Didn't the Canadians have like huge crowds for every game? And
no, they only had like 1,200 people.
Oh God, it looked like they were like packed.
No, I mean it's the same thing. Some of these arenas, like even Carolina, like if you watch their games, it seems like they're selling out the building. But what they're doing is they're being told, you can only have 4,000, 8,000 people, whatever.
Okay, I didn't know.
They're basically arranging them all in the lower bowl to make it look like there's more people.
Yeah,
whatever it takes, man.
That's what wrestling would do for televised events, is basically shove everyone on one side of the arena.
Especially if the ticket sales aren't great.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I think if you put ticket sales out there for wrestling, they'd all come running back in a heartbeat. Nobody'd have a second thought about it.
Yeah, they are. Good. Hopefully, you got to keep the ball rolling. Keep the ball rolling. Get those people back. We need it.
Yeah, here in California on the 15th, all major league all outdoor venues can have max capacity. So
Nice.
all the baseball teams starting June 15th will be full. Football season will be full when you get to September.
It's tomorrow here, although I don't know why they're announcing it for tomorrow, because they like the team's like, hey, we're letting everybody back in like 2 weeks ago. Because DeWine did which I thought was kind of a smart thing. He said, we're going to give you 3 more weeks to get vaccinated. After that, fuck you, you're on your own. And I'm like, fair enough,
It's fine.
And so tomorrow marks the 3rd week. Whereas if you'd gotten your shot the first week, or however, he had it set up basically where it was 3 weeks, you'd be fully vaccinated by tomorrow. After that, all the gloves come off, and you are absolutely on your own, which I don't know how else you do it at this point. You just got to go, hey, you know what?
If you haven't done it by now,
you're not going to do it.
You're not brought in by any of the incentives that some of these governments.
I'm all over the incentives, but I can't get any more shots. I would go out and get more. I'd go.
Well, right. That's why California is doing a thing where like they announce incentives and like giveaways, but because they knew that like, well, we've done a pretty good job of getting a lot of people vaccinated. They're like, and if you've already been vaccinated, your name's in the hopper.
Oh, see, I'm in for $1 million here in Ohio, which is good.
Right.
I'll find out tomorrow if I win for the second time.
They divvied it up to where like there's a prize pool for people that were already and will be, and then there's a separate prize pool for people that are going to be.
I mean, I know that you guys aren't like into guns or anything, but West Virginia's giving away these sweet 9mm. I'm like, fuck, I want one of those. When I get shot, can I get another vaccine? Like
last not Memorial Day weekend, but the weekend before, LA County was offering anybody that got vaccinated in LA County was in a drawing for Laker season tickets.
Oh, that'd be nice. See, I was in California visiting. I'm like, hey, shoot me up a couple times. Let's do this. Get me, but that's the thing. I know that a lot of people have real problems with this lottery stuff. It's like, I don't have any issue with it. Ohio has wasted $5 million on shit far, far, far dumber than this.
Yeah.
And if it will help get the vaccination numbers up and keep this thing at bay, that's what we want. Because it's not gone. It's not going anywhere.
I would like, in theory, government money to be spent on things that could use it. But again, this is like, at a certain point, you got to get some people need some sort of incentive to get off their couch to go do it. And then yes, once the incentive is over, it's like if none of what we've done prior to this, if the global pandemic or the threat of death or sickness or the incentive of money or tickets or experience, whatever, if none of that has done anything for you in terms of trying to get this thing done, then fine, whatever.
Then you've assumed all the risk, and that's all I can ask. Really, at that point, as long as it's on you at that point. And I'm not saying I'm totally against vaccine passports. I think they're wrong, and all that. But if you decide you don't want to do this, then as long as you're okay with it, because you're not going to hurt me any. I'm fully vaccinated. I don't care. I mean, I don't want people to get sick and die. But you know what? At this point, when you had every opportunity for how long now, since January, to get this thing, and you get like throwing, it's like you get like worse prizes on some of these shitty game show network shows that are on at 11 o'clock at night than what you get right now.
With worse odds.
Yeah, you're throwing these great incentives and you still don't want to do it, then I can't fucking help you. And it's not my problem anymore. That's the way I feel about it. Maybe I'm just a heartless bastard, but I don't care. I want my life back, and if this is what it takes, that's what it takes.
As like the great Bon Jovi said, it's my life, and it's now or never.
Well, I already got you.
I ain't gonna live
Bob
forever.
Dylan. Now I'm gonna have to like bash on Bon Jovi too, because he had one great song, and that was it.
This is a song for the broken hearted.
That wasn't it.
Wow.
I kind of dig that. Was it the Cowboy song? What's it called? Dead or Alive? Because Richie Sambora just, yeah, man, he reels off a guitar solo that's just like off the charts, just absolutely destroys it, and that's my favorite part of the song.
He actually plays the solo in that.
Richie Sambora does, yeah.
Oh, okay, so not John Bon Jovi.
No, God, John Bon Jovi couldn't do that if his life depended on it. Anyway, I don't know how the hell we got off on that topic.
That's a fine way to end the show.
Yeah, right. Send your Bon Jovi hate mail or hate Greg mail, whatever.
Greg mail.
Send your hate mail about me not liking John Bon Jovi somewhere else because I don't want to hear it.
Send it to fuckyou at gregmail.com.
Right. Don't make me play a fuck the listeners clip again. I'm just you're all about back in my good graces. Do you see that? Just to completely go way off the script here. you see that tweet that Joe sent to us? I just love you guys so much. I thought that was really nice. Yeah. I love you guys so much. And you know what, Joe? We love you too. Well, unless you're doing stupid shit in the GTOV, which then we'll have to put it up for review. But right now, we'll return the sentiment. But yeah, I thought that was really
send us a record of your GTOV vote,
right.
And we'll decide.
We're going to put Loving You Back under review. We'll see how you do. Send us your voting record, and we'll figure it out from there. Anyway, any final, Mike? You want any one last fuck you to the Maple Leafs before we go, or anything? Or
like I said, I'm just done.
All right. With that, I guess we're done too. So I'll remind you all to subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. I'm going to make an effort to do more on the Basically Sports Twitter, so follow us at Basically Sports. And with that, we will see you all next time.
Adios.
Fuck you, Toronto.